Hi there riders, it's Jason here and I hope you're doing well. So late last night we received a delivery and as per tradition I ran down to the warehouse loading bay like a little kid and stole the first thing off the top. And I'm super excited about this scooter. The reason being is the UK is a little bit behind in terms of its technology, its adoption and understanding of e-scooters. And I feel like this is an e-scooter that could bridge quite a big gap. And by that I mean people looking for an e-scooter that they can have a rip around on the weekend and they can use as a viable transport solution. The problem is those two types of scooters are very far apart from each other. The something that you want that's a quick fold up, very light and can get you from A to B is going to be very different to the high-powered weekend warrior scooter. So I feel like this is a scooter that could cross the bridge into both of those worlds. This is the Dualtron 3, and I think you'd agree it's pretty hot. It's pretty hot. If anyone knows me, historically speaking, I'm not a massive fan of the LEDs, but Dualtron they've killed it with this kind of setup. I'm a big fan of it. We'll go on to that in a little bit because it is quite special. So just to give you a little bit of background on it, Mini Motors makes the Dualtron range and the Speedway, but this is the Dualtron 3. So this has come through a really good pedigree, and it's probably one of the best selling Dualtrons in the family just because it's so adaptable. Folding handlebars, it also locks into place. It weighs about 30 to 35 kilograms, so for someone like myself who's not afraid of lifting something up, this is great. It can also take my weight. It's got a 75-mile range and a top speed of between 45-47 miles an hour, so it's no slouch. It's very, very quick. The reason I'm a big fan of the Dualtron 3 is it's basically the big brother to the Speedway, and if anyone knows, I'm a massive fan of the Speedway 5 dual motor. Value for money, it is amazing. So this is the next step up. This is just below the Dualtron Ultra and the Dualtron Thunder in the family tree, but by no means in performance is it any lower. LG batteries kicking out 3,600 watts of power, so this will shift. This will seriously move. It's got a semi-hydraulic brake, so basically it's cable actuated to go into a hydraulic system. So it's not full hydraulic, which is very, it gives you really good feedback. But then the cable system, which I'm quite familiar with, is quite spongy, and you don't always get the same kind of feel on it, but the benefit is that it's super easy to maintain. This is kind of gone for the best of both worlds. It's got the sensation of the hydraulic, but the easy maintenance of the cable system. I haven't actually had a ride of it. Well, I did. I rode around the warehouse, and I actually took my shoes off because it was that pretty. I took my shoes off and just put my feet on it, and I just didn't want to mark it up. It's a really very, very pretty e-scooter. So yeah, 70 mile range. It comes with a dual or a single switch. So if you're just kind of cruising along, you can just use the dual motor. If you really want to conserve and go for a super long ride, you can go into the eco mode, or you can go kind of full crazy and go dual engine. It comes with the new iThrottle, which I've been champion for a long while. I think it's probably the best throttle system out there that I've come across. I've come across quite a few, but intuitive wise, functionality wise and aesthetics, I think it's the best one out there. You can really dial it up or dial it down depending on what your needs are, and this will rip. This is a very fast scooter. Do not underestimate it. I mean, it comes in about 34 kilos, so it's not so heavy that you can't lift it up onto something or into something, and it's not so light that you can't really go for a rip. So this is why I'm excited, because this is an e-scooter that can kind of do everything. you can pretty much do everything for it. It's got a quite a simple system that will allow you to lock it into place and lift it like a suitcase. Not all the Dualtrons have that feature. It's basically just a hook that drops into there, and it will allow you to drop this down. The folding handlebars are, I mean, they look the same as what's on the Dualtron Thunder. It's a very good system. It basically allows you to fold it down. And it gives you the compactness of like a commuter scooter, but then it's got the functionality of the power of a super scooter. So when I say super scooter, I mean the Dualtron Ultras, the Dualtron Thunders. You know, this is something that's a little bit more manageable, a little bit more day to day. And if you want an e-scooter that can kind of cover both those worlds, Dualtron 3. We took the risky decision of buying literally the top spec Dualtron 3, and the reason for that is Dualtron have got such a wide category of e-scooters that, you know, if you're going to go for something that can cover everything, you know, just go for the best in that field. There is a Dualtron 1, Dualtron 2. This is number 3, and then you go into Thunder and Ultra territory. But you could rock up to a Thunder or an Ultra, and off the line you're pretty much going to be the same. It's just that top end speed, those extra watts of power on the Thunder is just going to keep you. I mean, very rarely, very rarely you ever going to hit 50 miles an hour on an e-scooter. Anything between 30 and 40 feels extremely fast. Having said that, on the Dualtrons, they're made for speed, so they don't feel like you're out of control. My little experience around the warehouse is it's a familiar geometry. I've been riding the Speedway 5, which is its little cousin. The only difference being is they've gone for a wider deck. I'm a massive fan of the wide decks. They're very comfortable. I'm surprised they don't go for the tail kicker. I've been asked a lot for those. Just because the Dualtron throws out that much torque and that much power, it's nice to have that tail kicker. It's like what you'd see on a car as a spoiler, but you actually rest your foot on it, so it gives you a little bit more control. I'm seeing a few aftermarket companies that are doing that, and yeah, it's worthwhile buying, especially on the high power scooters. But out of the box stock, it's beautiful. It's really a very pretty machine. You're probably thinking why I'm holding this little puppy. Okay, for the first time, I actually think it's quite cool. I'm not a massive fan of the flashing things, but this is actually a remote for the LED. So the LED, this will control the stem and the centre pillar here. So you can kind of change it as and when. I think it's a nice visual piece. I don't think it's kind of too crazy. You can kind of go to the greens. That's pretty cool. You can go to red. There you go, red. And you can flash, you can do all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. For me, I just like it kind of plain and simple. I just want a lighting system, like I said before, that just lets people know I'm riding. I definitely advise getting a high mount, like a cat's eye. You can just buy them from any kind of motorbike or cycle shop, just because the lighting systems on this are quite low, so visibility for other people, it's nice to have something a bit higher. But otherwise, I haven't had a massive ride on it. I think you'd agree aesthetically it is really good looking. It's a very pretty scooter, and it's got the performance and the pedigree behind it. 60 volt battery, 28 amp output to each engine, which gives you a combination of 3,600 watts. So within its field, for other 28 amp e-scooters, I'd put my money on saying this is probably the fastest, just because I know the Dualtron technology, the batteries, the controllers and the engines are absolutely top spec. This is, I'd say, is the fastest. It may not be the lightest. I mean, there's a Dualtron Spider Limited, which is around the same kind of price point, but they get that really stripped out. So it's not as durable as something like the Dualtron 3, but it is super light. It's very light. So if you're kind of a city slicker that wants a bit more juice, this is probably where I put my money. I mean, if I had a set budget, I'm very fortunate that we get a lot of toys in here and we can kind of take our pick on a day-to-day, but if I had a set budget where I needed something that could get me, that would be the jack of all trades, I would lean towards this. If the pockets are deep enough, this is a really good investment, because the build quality on it is, like I said, Dualtron I'm very, very fond of, because A, the build quality, and B, the performance is amazing. In addition now to their kind of LED lighting system, which has been around for a while, but I haven't really kind of explored it that much, but it's a very, very impressive machine. I haven't ridden it. This is kind of the first unboxing and viewing. I mean, it's still got the taping. Oh, I'd like to say a massive thank you to our marketing team, who've given me this expensive set, which is a pallet and my own workbench. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate your work there. Otherwise, I'm going to go and have a rip on this. If you've got some questions about it, drop me an email. I do apologise. I know I've seen a lot of comments on YouTube. We've just been slam busy, so I'll get round to doing them as soon as possible. But Dualtron 3 in stock now. This is actually going into our demo stock, so we're very lucky now. We've got literally a full selection of Dualtron scooters available. Thunder, Ultra, DT3, Raptor, Spider. So give us a shout, come and try them out, come and view us. We're not in our showroom just yet. We're waiting, literally, I mean, we're a little bit behind schedule. We're trying to get into our showroom as soon as possible, but I think most people enjoy just coming down and checking out beautiful machines like this. So as soon as we're in, we'll do an open invite and hopefully do a little launch. Otherwise, see you later. Catch you later, guys.